we can wait for him to get in here to actually start.
Yeah, he's here.
Zach just got in here. Okay. Basically, I'll be debating NoLuck on God of Death Flash versus God of Knowledge Batman. He's taking Batman. The judges are Banandrak, Wavy, and Image Lords.
Okay.
Okay. Zach, just tell me when you begin recording.
Okay.
My money is on NoLuck.
Oh my god.
Imagine
Fiction is not my best topic. I wouldn't put your money on me.
I don't know. Well, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. So would you like me to begin, or do you want to begin?
Well, I did want to clarify a few things. So, like, do you want to use, like, just, I don't know, just Rebirth, just Darkseid War? Do you want to use comp characters? Like, where do you want to put, like, the guardrails here?
I just want to use the iterations of the characters and their connection to the other continuities. If it's not connected to another continuity or another, like, let's say you connect Rebirth to, like, the Silver Age or some shit, then don't do that. That's just an example. Just only things that are connected to the actual continuity that Darkseid Wars is from, or whatever you're going to use. Okay.
Okay. So, like,
any other questions?
So, like, just as an example, if you have, like, a statement about the Speed Force from, like, Silver Age or something, like, that's cool to use, right? Like, because it's still just describing the Speed Force because you're using a speedster, obviously.
Not necessarily, because because you understand the Speed Force isn't necessarily, like, the same in every, like, reality of hypertime, right? You agree?
Well, yeah, there's difference.
Right. So if I somehow connect Silver Age to Darkseid Wars, yeah, sure, it's fine, right? But if you
as long as there's, like, a valid connection, yeah.
Right. As long as if I argue it, right, and if you can't disprove it, and it's, like, not true actually, then it still should stand true just because you couldn't debunk it. But I think you could already understand that yourself. I don't want to look like I'm treating you like an idiot.
Oh god. Yeah, let's not do that.
Okay.
As far as I mean, are we starting or like?
I mean,
is that all the rules?
Do you need more prep? Because, like.
No, I'm asking if, like, do you have any other rules you want to go over or anything like that?
I think that's pretty much just it.
Okay.
Also this formality. Are we doing semi-formal, informal, formal? And are we taking turns in our argumentations? Are we making several points in one argumentation? What kind of a formality and, like, structure are we doing?
We can do whichever one you want. I'm most comfortable in semi-formal and informal.
I'm comfortable with semi-formal because I don't want to scream at you in informal. So, like, I'll make a point, but you can interrupt it before I make my other points, not to shock. That's basically semi-formal. Right, okay. So, anything else?
No, that's it. So, as far as how this goes, I basically see Batman is smarter, likely much faster than Flash. And Batman in that Mobius chair also has the ability to read people's minds and their intentions, as well as see any future timeline events coming down.
So, precognition?
Yeah, very good precog, mind read, basic telepath abilities, and better speed than the Black Racer. That would be my argument there.
Okay. So, like, how far are you scaling him into speed? What tier of speed?
He can be omnipresent if he wants to.
I'm asking. He isn't omnipresent, but
he is. The Mobius chair affords the ability to be anywhere or everywhere.
If that was the case, then it would have been in all places of DC and all places of the map of the multiverse. It would be in the area. It would be in the area of the Entertainer of the Anonymous. It'd be where Rita Farr resigned in. It'd be where the Anonymous itself is. It'd be in the void that Harley Quinn was in, etc. And I understand you just said that.
Well, it's not that.
I understand.
It's not that it always is. It gives you the option, like the ability to do that.
Well, is there anything to suggest this is true? Because just stating that, like, because you understand, like, forms of soundness and shit. So, like, a statement saying, like, you can destroy a rock would probably be, or just defaultly hold more soundness than stating you are omnipotent or some shit like that, right?
No, like, I'm quoting it almost verbatim. The maker and designer and primary user of the chair said this chair allows you to be anywhere and everywhere.
Okay, and has Batman ever done that?
He can be anywhere, and I believe he's in multiple places at once throughout
I
Darkseid
understand
Wars.
he can be, but has he ever activated that option?
I mean, yeah, technically, I just said he can change like I said, with the anywhere, he does teleport himself and others instantaneously. And then as far as everywhere, did you want to say something?
Yeah, just show me the scan of Batman being everywhere, not the option, the scan of it. Of him, like, being everywhere. And is it in character?
No, he doesn't try to be everywhere. He doesn't try to use the omnipresence. He does show up in multiple places, and the chair is said to basically be, by the designer and the primary user, to be able to be anywhere and everywhere.
Okay, right. So
the designer of the chair is extremely credible, as well as the primary user of it as well. Unless you would say that the designer of the chair is non-credible.
Okay, so we're like, you're I don't know if you're understanding what I'm saying. Okay, we understand that, like, he does have the option to do so and to be omnipresent. Okay, we'll agree
That's
to that.
all I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay, right.
Fine.
And
that's
the only thing I'm saying is that I just want you to show me him, like, directly using that omnipresence. Because if he doesn't, then it shouldn't be anything. Because if he's never activated it, it would be not in character for him.
Well, actually, no.
Oh, hold on.
It's in character because
I forgot to address something as well. Are we doing SBAs?
SBAs, standard battle.
Yeah,
I know.
Are
we? I was just assuming they, like, I don't know, meet up on a street. Are they in Gotham, New York? I don't really care.
Neutral battlegrounds, in character, intention to kill.
Yeah. Also, that's another thing I wanted to touch on with the in character. I think Batman's character is going to help him here, but I won't elaborate on that because you wanted to talk about the omnipresence thing. So what I'm basically saying is that the options there, which, it sounds like we agree on, I don't think that him not using it shows that it should be thrown out as far as his abilities. Because within the debate or versus battle, we're talking about what they could do to each other.
No. That isn't. I'm not saying that you should throw it away. I'm saying that, okay, yeah, we're right. You keep saying could or can. We can, like, agree to that for now, right? It's fine.
Yeah.
He can be omnipresent. I'm saying that he wouldn't just be omnipresent at the start of the battle. That's just what I'm telling you.
Well, he would if he needed to. And this is something that's, again, like, straight up said, I think by Batman while he's in this chair that he has, and I'll post the scan of this, he has the answers to all questions, and he has the solution to every problem, and the fact that he has precog on top of mind reading and intent reading. With all of that put together, I think he's going to know what Flash is going to try to do, and if he needs to make himself omnipresent, he does have that ability, and omnipresence would outpace the Flash and the Black Racer. And I'll post those scans for you.
Yeah, I'll get to Flash scaling soon. I just want to address Batman. So, what I'm going to ask you is that you understand that there's, like, he can know everything within his own, like, dimensional tier, or, like, dimensionality. Remind me, not dimensionality. His own dimension, because a being can know everything in, let's say, creation, but they would not know shit about, let's say, the Overvoid or Final Heaven, right? So you'd have to show to me that he's at this, like, level of creation or level of the map of the multiverse to show that he can understand and comprehend everything in the map of the multiverse, as you basically just implied he was omniscient as well. So he can know everything.
Well, it's actually within the chair, and then the multiverse was mapped partially. No, it was mapped majorly. Like, the majority of the mapping of the universe was done by Mobius when he was traveling in the chair. It's actually stated that part of the reason he made the chair was to be able to travel the cosmos.
Okay, so can you show it to me?
So that way he could understand the Celestials, how the Celestials work, and basically how this...
Yeah, I'm aware. I just want you to show me.
So he does map the multiverse, though. And then on top of that, not only does he know plenty about the Black Racer, because he has all the knowledge of the New Gods as well, but also part of one of the stories where Mobius was traveling the universe, he does encounter the Black Racer, and he already knows who he is.
Okay, I'm aware of these things, right? I'm gonna ask you this. So,
well, where would the knowledge gap be?
Oh, no, there's no cap. This is just blatantly Batman versus Flash. Okay, so what I'm gonna ask you.
Well, yeah, but he's in the Mobius chair, is what I'm saying. Like the Mobius chair has everything that Mobius ever did and learned.
Okay.
Like
right.
Batman knows these same things.
If he has access to that, yeah, there's no cap.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
What I am going to ask you to do is show to me that chair or Mobius mapping, that would be on the dimension of creation.
On the dimension of create. Wait, why would I need to do that? Black Racer and God of Death Flash are not on that level of creation. You're basically saying that they'd have to be past the green.
Okay. So God of Death Flash was able to one-shot True Form Darkseid, his avatar.
Yeah, Superman's done that as well.
Okay, right, and that Darkseid had the anti-life equation within his veins.
I believe so.
The anti-life is stated to be one half of a composite yin-yang duality with the source.
Okay, well, that's fine.
So he would essentially be destroying someone with the power of the source.
Okay, so again, that would imply that he could touch him, because the Black Racer's signature move is to touch somebody and they die due to death touch. That's fine. I'm saying that he wouldn't have the chance to touch Batman.
Okay. How they would stack up against each other, we're gonna address one at a time if you're fine. If you say something about Batman, I'm gonna just ask you to prove it. Same thing with Flash, vice versa, right? So
are you asking me to prove why he wouldn't touch Batman?
I'm asking you to prove that Mobius' chair, Batman in general, would be on that same level of creation.
Well, it doesn't need to be. He can still understand Flash's thoughts, because at no point is it implied that his thoughts are any different, or that he thinks at some higher level that. Because even Darkseid is still somewhat susceptible to lower telepaths. They can at least see what's in his head, but they cannot control him.
Okay, right, and what he can just know it. That's precognition, right? I don't have a problem with having precog.
Well, that, and then also the timeline. He could see, even if you want to argue that Flash can't have his mind read because he's stronger than that Darkseid, then the Mobius chair is just going to look.
That's not what my argument is. My argument is that.
Oh, okay.
So I just scaled Flash to basically creation, and there's also a feat of him running so fast that hyper time dies and wastes, and hyper time is able to encompass the New Gods realm. Right, it's able to encompass the God sphere, right? So what I'm asking you to do is that you need to prove that his comprehension of knowledge would be on the level of creation, because you can comprehend something on this level of dimensions and all of that, but that does not mean you'd be omniscient in general across the entire cosmology. Oh, okay. Hi, Trini.
So you're basically saying that so you're trying, maybe I'm missing something here. You're trying to scale him above all creation in all multiverses in all possible realities?
I'm trying to scale him to the source, which would be above Mobius Batman. And Mobius Batman, which you tried to argue, would be
well, the anti-life equation does not equate to the source, even in its entirety.
Okay, do you need me to post the image or scan of the anti-life stated one half of a composite yin-yang duality with the source?
Well, yeah, it can have some sort of duality with the source, but that doesn't imply that it's as strong as the source. It's kind of like how the In-Betweener has a duality with Lord Chaos and I believe Order and Lord Chaos, but they could both overpower him, although they're both stated to be yin-yang dualities to each other as well.
Yeah, because they're beyond the duality itself. What I'm saying is that
so is the source. The source is beyond duality in most concepts.
Okay. I understand. I'm not saying that the source is below duality. No. I'm saying that
exactly.
It is a part. Yeah, it is a part of a duality. It's half of a duality with the anti-life, and you understand balance, right? So you need to
imply that same power, though.
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
okay. Yes, it would. Okay.
actually,
You know
no.
what?
The source and have like all you want. So basically, if that were the case, then Darkseid would have needed or only needed the anti-life equation to take on the source when the source became like its embodiment and fought Soulfire Darkseid. However, Darkseid had the anti-life equation and did not attack the source. Reason being is he was much too weak. The anti-life equation has never anything out of her.
Can you connect Soulfire Darkseid to Darkseid Wars?
No, I'm not saying that I need to. I'm just saying that Darkseid wants to go after the source, and that he doesn't with the anti-life equation.
I understand that, but I
he does when he has the power.
I already brought up hypertime. So explain to you that hypertime would also have different cosmologies. If I didn't, I can restate that. So you need to prove to me that the Soulfire Darkseid would have this same kind of cosmology. Because
no, I don't. You just tried to discount or throw out Soulfire Darkseid by saying, well, he's not connected to this, so we're not using that.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
I can also say that Darkseid did overpower the source. If you really want me to say that he scales above that sort of duality you're talking about, or above the different cosmologies, because the source is above the Black Racer, and at the end of the day, well, that's who we're basically talking about. So, I'm
above the Black Racer as well.
Well, he's barely above it, if anything, because it's implied that he's stronger, but it's not like shown to some some multiplier, or it's never directly stated that he's like on a whole other cosmological level.
Okay, so you're referring to this, right? The scan of Soulfire Darkseid?
I probably am. I have that saved. I have a special folder for Soulfire, so let me look.
Yeah. Checkmate.
This one?
Hold on, I need to zoom in. Okay. Checkmate is not yet yours, for I am the source.
Yeah, but he ends up actually beating the source, and I'll show you how he does that. He actually even claims omnipotence.
Right. But you're trying to misinterpret what I'm saying about hypertime. Hypertime is do you know what hypertime is?
Well, no, you were saying something about I have to prove that Soulfire Darkseid is linked to Darkseid Wars. That's what I was responding to.
I'll explain hypertime. It'll explain a little bit better for you. So hypertime basically, it's just this realm in DC that encompasses the God Sphere, and it encompasses all realities within DC, and each reality may differ or may be similar. So what I'm asking, I
also posted the Soulfire Darkseid thing for you that you were asking, by the way. That's in the general debate. I posted this.
Is this proving?
Oh, that he was above the source. So you were asking me to prove that Soulfire is above duality as well.
That's not what I was asking.
Well, you asked a few things. You said first link No, you said actually the duality thing, and then you said link Soulfire Darkseid to Darkseid Wars. And I was like, I
brought up the dualism of the source. Anyway. I brought up the dualism of the source in the anti-life equation, and then you bringing me evidence to just say that Soulfire Darkseid is beyond the source when I have a statement of him being the source, right? But
no, that's not it. I was saying the source is above the anti-life equation, scaling-wise, because the anti-life equation doesn't have any outerversal feats or showings.
Okay, and what I'm asking you to do is link this Darkseid to Darkseid Wars, or show that they have the same.
You did ask that.
Hold on. Let me finish. Okay. Show that they have the same cosmology, because as I explained, you need to prove that because there's hypertime, and it is a part of hypertime. You'd have to disprove that, right? Unless you don't want to. Do you agree that Soulfire, the continuity of Soulfire is connected to hypertime?
Do I think his continuity has hypertime within it, or
no?
Is it linked to this one?
No, I'm asking. Do you believe Soulfire Darkseid is connected to hypertime?
Okay. I mean, yeah. Wouldn't that just equate to me saying that it's he's connected to the multiverse?
Okay. He's connected to hypertime, which is encompassing the God Sphere. But hypertime is made up of an infinite amount of different realities. So,
it's actually infinite multiverses is what the quote says.
It's still the same point, though. You'd have to prove that they would be linked.
That's fine. Why would I need to prove, like, there's a link between this Darkseid
because their
and
cosmology would be different. Do you think the anti-life equation in fucking Legos is the same as, like, DC Comics?
Wait, but you're also saying that basically what you understand of the source, which would probably come from this story as well, that it's outerversal and transcends this hypertime, is also linked to Darkseid Wars. So you would have to link your claim to basically Darkseid Wars as well.
I mean, my scan connects itself to Darkseid Wars. If you literally just read it.
Which scan?
The scan I posted, the red one. The red one. The anti-life equation.
Darkseid seizes the day. Let me see. Oh, this one.
Mm-hmm.
The anti-life equation. Okay. Yeah, I remember this. So, yeah, again, this goes into duality with the source, but you have to scale the source within Darkseid War. You can't use the one from the Soulfire story.
Okay, this is not from the Soulfire story.
Well, no, this is not. I'm saying that you're saying, well, the anti-life equation is scalable to the source or relative to the source. So how strong is the source within Darkseid War?
Okay, and I posted the scan to show you how strong the source is in Darkseid Wars. That is directly from Grant Morrison describing the source or the anti-life equation within Darkseid Wars. Remind me in Final Crisis.
So he says yin yang being with the source itself as a counterpart.
However, since the source contains within it life and anti-life, good and evil, up and down, and in and out, black and white, all at once, it must be regarded as an ultimate concept which cannot be halved or divided or contained. As encountered by Superman, Batman, Starfire, Jon Stewart, Martian Manhunter, and Jason Blood, the anti-life equation took humanoid form, declaring itself to be one half of a composite yin-yang being with the source itself as a counterpart.
Well, one, again, this really doesn't scale it to the level you're saying, because this is saying that it's like transcending that hypertime where you are, and the scan doesn't say much about that. Also, the scan contradicts itself in saying that, well, since the source, and I'll quote this verbatim, since the source contains within it life and anti-life, good and evil, up and down, in and out, black and white, all at once, it must be regarded as an ultimate concept which cannot be halved or divided or contained. So basically, they're also saying that the anti-life equation is like some portion of that, or you're basically saying that
that's not what it's saying. Anti-life is not.
No. I'm saying what you're saying. You're saying that it's a duality type of thing. So you're basically saying that either this is like relative to it or it's half of it. So
okay, well, that's not what I'm saying. I'll explain to you. So
well, you're using it to scale it. So if you're not trying to scale the anti-life equation to be relative to the source, what are you doing?
There's a difference between the duality and the source itself. The duality is the thing that's being split, right? So one half of the duality is the source, not one half of the source. So the other half of the duality is the anti-life. It's not the source being split, and that's also like confirmed furthermore in like the next paragraph.
No, we can go with that. Let's just, to move the debate forward, how strong is the source within Darkseid War alone?
It would transcend the source fall, which would transcend the monitor sphere, which would actually, I wouldn't even need to do so or to explain that. I would need you to show me that Mobius Batman would be on that scale, as well as the fact you need to show me that, because
I just need to know what the scale is. That's all I need to know.
It's like I didn't get off this point. Like we just went off it, and I just wanted.
We don't need to get off the point. I'm just saying, like, so you're scaling it beyond the monitor sphere, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, we made several. The scales beyond many things, but we made several points. So let me just clarify. So, we never got off the point of the omniscience and omnipresence, or we did get off omnipresence. But what I'm asking you is to show me that his omniscience would also correlate to these different dimensions, because I don't get why he would know everything.
Okay, so now we're going to different dimensions. Okay, yeah, are you saying that this is like fifth dimensional? Like,
I'm saying that this is of a higher dimension. It transcends the last one. Do you know what dimensional transcendences are?
I very much do, but so I'm trying to pin down your scaling of the source in the anti-life equation. So you're saying it's past the monitor sphere?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I was trying to get at. So you know that basically one of the anti-monitors had a pretty big hand in actually making the Mobius chair, right?
Okay.
Okay, that's great. Like, if you want to say that here, and I'll get you a perfect scan for this.
Do I need to post scans for the Morpher God of Death? Or Hypertime as well? Yeah, hold on. I'll just post them for context as well.
Yeah, let me get through my folder here so I can post a few more for you.
I don't know when he joined, but fuck. I don't know if Trini joined early or late, because I was gonna say if he wants to judge.
No, I joined pretty late.
Okay, never mind.
I thought you guys were doing this tomorrow or something. Guys,
I thought you'd take more time to prep. Like when I think of preparation, I think of like a week or something. And no, like just
NoLuck preps for like 10 minutes, dude. Honestly.
A little bit, yeah.
I think the only debate I've heard him actually prepare for is the one we're supposed to have soon. But other than that, I don't look like ever prep.
Yeah.
Shit.
That's why I was confused when you were like, do you need more time to prep? I was like, I don't think you understand how I debate.
Reads Wikipedia article. Kappa, you're ready to debate whether anarcho-capitalism is a functional economic state? Like,
yeah, do you want to debate the 2008 financial crisis?
Whips that Wikipedia page, like, god damn.
Oh, dude, where the fuck are my berry scans? Fuck.
Dude, I miss Google Plus. I was just thinking.
Are you in a scan server?
In the scan server? I don't think so. I don't think I'm in any scan server.
Well, after this debate, if you want, I can link you to mine.
That's fine. My biggest point, just so we're on that, is that basically duality does not imply that they're like relative by any means. It's kind of like if there needs to be life, there needs to be death kind of thing, which is something also stated by the Black Racer. Just like little stuff like that. A lot of it can be like causal, like if X happens, then the consequence will be Y, like that kind of thing.
I mean, they're yeah, I understand. But,
yeah,
I know it's
those are like examples.
They're already beyond a causality.
Well, that's not the point. Is like I'm saying they're basically like not shown or stated to be like relative and like power, almightiness, like the sources.
I'll address that as soon as I get all my scans bunched together.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, a moment. Okay. Well, also, what are you doing? Weren't you looking for something too?
I'm posting it. It's just like loading forever.
Okay. All right. They should all post. I hope they do. There you go.
These. Let's see.
Where the fuck is that? Okay, never mind. I need to post
Wait, what's this top one from? I mean, it looks pretty similar to Darkseid War, but is this Flashpoint?
No, this is not Flashpoint.
I don't believe it was real. So.
It's Flash issue 50. Quote me though. I'm not remembering. The only reason I showed Barry Allen destroying Hypertime while running was just to show what Hypertime is stated to be.
Let me see.
The Great Race just shows that Barry Allen is faster than the Black Racer.
So how is this? No, he is faster than the Black Racer. That's shown in Darkseid. But how is this like? Is this story like within Darkseid War, or is this like
the top scan?
Yeah.
Actually, now I remember. It's Rebirth. It's Flash issue 50 if you want context. So basically, I'm not showing it to be a feat. I'm showing it because this is Hypertime. This is what is described as Hypertime.
Well, no, that's the thing is like, okay, you were saying to me earlier that like the Source and Soulfire Darkseid were different within that story, and we can't just carry that over without connecting it to like Darkseid War. I get it. This has a description of hypertime, but why does that description link to Darkseid War?
Okay, my point is that I'm not saying that it should. I'm saying that hypertime, right, is basically
so
just
it
this.
shouldn't link to
Hold on,
Darkseid War.
please let me finish.
No,
Hypertime is
fine.
Okay. What?
No, I was saying that's fine. You can finish. Sorry.
Okay. Basically, hypertime is just this realm that encompasses all realities or all multiverses within like the God sphere, etc. Right. So what I'm saying is that I'm not showing this to be a feat because there's only one hypertime.
Mm-hmm.
That's my point. So this hypertime encompasses all of those realities, right? Unless those things beyond those realities, like such as people like Yuga Khan, Lucifer, the presence.
Yeah, but there's different realities for different ages. Like Silver Age is different from New 52. New 52 has different realities than Rebirth.
Yeah,
it's like Molecule Man, because when Molecule Man like alters all of the multiverses or all dimensions, or when Galactus does it, or when Thanos does it in Marvel with like the Heart of the Universe, it's done within like basically that run of the comics. Like
right.
New 52 is different from all this shit, and so on and so forth. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm
like
aware.
It doesn't connect to Darkseid
New
War
52,
that way.
New 52 was created by Dr. Manhattan, and this story is of Rebirth, and Rebirth is within hypertime. So my point is that because it is encompassed by hypertime, and hypertime encompasses all of those realities, that is basically
within this story, though.
Okay, no, there's only one hypertime. There's only one hypertime.
There's only one. There's only one source, and there's only one monitor sphere. But there's scaling.
There's several. Then there's sources. Mm-hmm. Okay, do you know what injustice is?
Are we using injustice scaling?
No.
I don't want to try to link that to Darkseid War. I really don't want.
That's not what I'm marking. Okay, do you know what injustice is?
Yeah, I read the comics. I played the games. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So injustice is stated to be it's so far out of creation that it has a different creation entirely.
Okay.
So again, there's only
Does that exist within hypertime? Like is there the same hypertime for that injustice, or since it's past creation and all creation, does it have its own hypertime or even hypertime at all?
Well, when I say there's only one hypertime, I'm referring to everything that's at the same level of dimensions, or everything that is encompassed by it. Things that are being encompassed like above hypertime, such as like the Source, the Overvoid, Final Heaven, etc. Right? Those things would not be contained by hypertime, of course. That's not what I'm saying. When I say one, I should have clarified me for that. There's there's only one hypertime in its own dimension, and the dimensions below it.
Okay, so you would say that there are other hypertimes within like way fucking far out places like Injustice. That's what I was trying to get at. Like, it wouldn't be one hype. Okay, so that's what I was trying to say. There's not just one hypertime.
There's continuities that are, of course, like encompassed by this, right? But you'd have, then there's like the special few that, like, such as Injustice, that are from an entirely different creation. So what I would be asking, if you were trying to make the point, I'm just gonna like say this just for prior knowledge. So if you're trying to say that Darkseid War's of a different hypertime, what I would be asking you to do is show that, because it's a very like few rare occasion of that. So I'd need like specific.
Well, I wouldn't want you to put those words in my mouth, because I didn't ask that, because I didn't want to go to hypertime.
I said that. I
wouldn't ask that.
I said before I even like said that. I said, assuming you might be saying that, or you might ask for that. If you are going to do that, like I said that, then again, what I just repeated, I'm not going to say it again. But
no, I get it. So
yeah, I'm not putting.
So do you think? No, I get it. So just to clarify, do you think I'm asking? Like, did you think I asked that at all, or
no? I was asking it for prior, like, yeah.
No, I get it. So that's fine. Then we can. That's fine, as long as like that misunderstanding is cleared up. We can move forward. So as far as this goes, I feel like we're, going into scaling these things. Can we talk about the practical applications of this, so that way we can figure out who wins the versus battle? Like, I'm basically saying that there's a lot of
Okay.
So anything that can happen within their timeline, which again would exist within this hyper time, or this space-time, hyper-time, all that stuff. Basically, like, the Mobius chair allows you to see it. Another example of this is like when basically Batman can travel to different points in the timeline. He can see how people are going to, basically go down a certain timeline. And then, like I said, with that precognition, mind reading, and intent sensing, even if he can't even if he couldn't see it because Splash goes to a different hyper time and comes back, he's still gonna know. He has to exist within their reality, because it sounds like you're saying that the hyper time encompasses a lot of realities. So even if you wanted to say that within practical application, God of Death Flash will jump outside their hyper time using that transcendence you say he has.
Okay, I have a question.
Batman can't see him.
Okay, I have an inquiry. Okay, so are you scaling this above Limbo?
I'm just putting it where you want to, because I feel like we're insanely off track and spending too much time on this. That's the point. I'm trying to move the debate forward.
I think it's perfect this way, because
I'm giving you whatever scaling you were wanting there, because I feel like there's a disconnect between us and we're not going to bridge that.
No.
I'm saying we should let the judges decide that and then move forward with the debate, so that way we're not caught on one thing.
I know. Let me just.
If we move the debate forward, this is a lot more productive.
Yeah. Let me just explain to you why I was doing this. So what I was doing is that.
Okay.
I wanted you to state why you thought Batman would win, and then I wanted me to myself to state why I think Flash would one shot, right? Then at the end we could compare and show our arguments to see how which one would be above the other. That was just the intention behind that.
Well, I have quite a few counter arguments to a lot of what you said, but I didn't want to keep on that subject. But if you want to, that Flash Black Racer at least is below or relative to Darkseid's Avatar and the Anti-Monitor, because they can both control him. However, they could both be killed by him. You understand that, right?
Okay. I already posted the scan of the third one that I posted. It's right below the Great Race scan. I'll just read to you what I was
the Great Race one.
It's below that one. Okay. Did I kill Darkseid? You didn't kill him, Flash. It was so awful. I could feel him die. I could see it. The Black Racer did it, not you. So they can control the Black Racer. They're not necessarily controlling God of Death Flash in this scenario, because
they go back and forth. I just reread Darkseid Wars for this, or Power of God's Darkseid War.
Actually, hold on. Have you read I'm gonna make an analogy. It's non sequitur, if that's what you're thinking. So have you read the Dragon Ball Super manga? Do you know who Moro is?
Yeah, I know everything. I'm caught up. He just fought Boo. I know.
Okay, so you understand. I'm pretty sure he was relative or weaker than Goku at the start, right?
I don't know.
Okay, well we'll say he is for now, right? His mind hacks is able to affect him. If they're able to control God of Death Flash or the Black Racer, that isn't necessarily meaning they're above him. That just means that God of Death Flash has no resistance to mind hacks.
So then he gets instantly negged by God of Death Batman's mind hacks.
He wouldn't be instantly negged.
Well, actually, if you're stating your own character doesn't have mind hacks resistance, the first thing God of Death or God of Knowledge Batman goes to, then he has no resistance to
he can use
very good weapon. Do you see where I'm going?
I understand. Yeah, he can use.
You can walk that back. You don't have to. Just so you know, you don't have to follow this. You can walk back what you said, and we'll just throw that out. We don't need to say he has no mind hacks resistance. We don't need to do that.
I don't. We do though. Okay.
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 We'll stick with he doesn't have mind hacks resistance. That's okay. If you want.
Oh, okay. So we'll see if I do have to backtrack on that. So basically, you understand dimensional tiering, right?
I understand to a certain. I can scale people to 5D, and that's pretty much it.
Okay. All right. So you understand higher dimensions of would include higher inaccessible cardinals, right? And they'd be values of infinite in each dimension, which would transcend the other, and the next dimension would view the last one as fiction, right?
Where are you getting that from?
Okay, because let's say this. we're as in the third dimension, we cannot comprehend anything in the fourth dimension. Two-dimensional beings or objects cannot comprehend anything in the third dimension. They're inaccessible cardinals because there's a more than infinite degree difference between each dimension.
Says too.
Like I'm going by dimensional tiering. Okay,
no,
let's
who's
establish
dimensional tiering? Like,
who
set this up first? Like, who discovered this?
NoLuck, hold on. Establish this first.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, no, I'm asking you. Not my input or anything. Maybe I'm just curious. I'm asking, like, how did you find this out? Like, what authority? Like, what person with what credentials actually said this?
Hold on. NoLuck, hold on. Okay. We need to establish first what we both define as dimensional tiering.
Okay.
Address this later, right? But I think it'd be more important to address this first.
Oh, okay. What do you want to address? Like, what we both think dimensional tiering is?
Yeah. What do you define as dimensional tiering?
I would say I have a pretty incomplete, like, knowledge of dimensional tiering. Like I just said, I can get people to 5D, and that's it. Like, I know the scaling for Trigon, Mr. Mixie, Heroes.
I don't mean what characters at
like
each dimension. I understand, like,
that's all I know.
I'm telling you that.
I'm asking you, like, where you got your knowledge.
Okay. Well, what I'm saying is that we blatantly cannot comprehend anything in the fourth dimension. You'd have to prove that we can.
Wait, but, like, how do you know that? Like, who said it?
What do you mean that? How do I know that? I know that we literally.
I just don't know. Like, I'm curious. Like, how do you know that?
How do we know? How do I know what?
How do you know that we can't comprehend things in the fourth dimension? Like,
if you can't prove the positive claim you claim. If you can't prove the positive claim, you always assume the negative claim. Do you agree to that?
Okay. Before I agree to that, the implications would be that I would agree to the negative, which would be that there is no knowledge of the fourth dimension, because I'm basically questioning, like, how you would have. Well, you're claiming that you're basically making a knowledge claim, a positive knowledge claim, that we in the third dimension cannot understand the fourth dimension. Okay. Is that true or no?
We cannot. Okay, what I'm saying is that we as third dimensional beings, right? We cannot comprehend anything of the fourth dimension, right? So when I say, like,
but, like, says who?
Okay.
Like, what? On what authority?
Again, I'm basing it off of claims. I'm saying if you can't
prove the positive, like, who claimed?
My claim. If you can't prove the positive, you assume the negative.
Okay, where's the evidence for the claim?
Okay. Did you not understand? Okay, if you can't prove the positive, you assume the negative.
Okay, so if you say that you can't comprehend purple, is that true?
Okay. As in, what kind of comprehension? As in what kind of comprehension?
Like, the fact that unicorns, and especially purple unicorns, don't. No. Here, I'll answer. So here's what I'm trying to draw. The parallel here is basically that these purple unicorns don't exist. So since I can't prove that we can't comprehend purple unicorns, even though we likely could, because you could envision a purple unicorn, I could then use the same argument you're using on me and say, well, we can assume the negative since we can't prove the positive. We can assume that we can't comprehend a purple unicorn, even though we could envision a purple horse with a horn on it, because it's very easy. However, there are no unicorns that actually exist, so I cannot prove the positive. However, in my own mind, and everyone in this call who's competent can actually envision a purple horse with a horn on it with wings.
Okay.
Well, the point is that basically, since there's no... Okay, then you got it. No. Okay, cool.
Okay, so I understand that you're trying to use it against me, so then you can show that your claim would technically be proven by the logic of, like, negative and positives, right? But the difference
by
is
your logic that you presented to me. Yes, that's what I'm trying to save you from. I don't want you to walk into that. Is the point?
Okay, I understand that, right? But the difference is that in this case and scenario, you're imagining it. You're imagining this purple unicorn to be of the third dimension. Because if it would be of the fourth dimension, right? Then you would not be able to comprehend.
Says who?
Oh my god. Okay, this is very circular.
No, it's not circular. I'm trying to get to the fundamentals of your belief and how you're verifying this claim. I'm saying, can you verify to me somehow that third dimensional beings cannot comprehend the fourth dimension? All I'm saying is basically that since we have no proof one way or the other, it's not really it's not really logically sound to say, well, since we don't have proof on either side, we should just fall on this side. Like, does that make sense? Like, if there's no proof either way, there's nothing to sway you to the positive or the negative. There's no point in saying, like, well, we have no proof, so we should just believe this side of it. Like, that's what I'm trying to illustrate to you. That was the point of the unicorn thing, because you can very clearly comprehend
Okay, you cut
a
out.
purple
You
unicorn.
cut out. You cut out. Okay.
Okay, I'm saying you can Yes,
okay.
Go ahead.
I just responded to that. Did you hear my response?
I did, and then you said, like, well, we wouldn't comprehend anything that's fourth dimensional, and I asked you, says who? And you were again going to say, says me, it's my claim. And then I was going to say, where's your proof?
No.
And then you were going to say...
I meant my recent counter. Counter I just made right now, my counter was that, okay, well, if you're
Hold on, you're cutting out. Well, I missed some of that. I might have got moved. Jade, I can't hear you right now. I don't know if it's recording or what happened. Can anyone else hear him by chance?
You can. I can hear you. You weren't moved.
Can you? Oh, okay.
Anybody
good.
hear me?
I didn't hear you for a little bit. I'm sorry, Jade.
Okay, hold on. Did the audience? Because I don't know if it's me or something.
Well, I didn't hear you for a while.
Okay, hold on.
Hey, your server cut off. Your like mic cut off for a minute there.
Let's try this then. Okay, so what I did say is that it wouldn't matter whether or not this is like whether or not you can imagine this purple unicorn. It wouldn't matter, NoLuck, because
well, it does, because I can comprehend it. That's why it matters.
If you
but
can,
you can't. You can't claim that it doesn't matter.
Hold on.
Well, you can't make two claims. You're claiming that my claim doesn't matter, and I have to address that.
You're not letting me finish.
Well, no, I let you finish a full claim, and then I was responding to that.
I didn't even get to like establish my counter. My that was my counter. Okay.
No, your original claim was that my claim didn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
That's the point.
Me saying it doesn't matter
a claim.
was I understand that, and then I was going to elaborate. That's the point. That's the claim I was making. I'm saying that wouldn't matter.
You'd like to elaborate further, go ahead.
Okay, that's what I've been. Oh my god. Okay, so again, it wouldn't matter as to why this purple unicorn. The analogy wouldn't matter because if you're imagining it with your three-dimensional mind, it would have to be of the same dimension or lower. You'd have to prove that it would be of the fourth dimension, because if it's of the same dimension, yes, you could comprehend it. So what I want you to do is prove this purple unicorn that's being imagined in this three-dimensional mind, prove that this purple unicorn that's being imagined in this three-dimensional mind is actually fourth dimensional or higher dimensions of that.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that basically because I have no evidence of, and this is going back to your original claim, that my comparison with the purple unicorn didn't matter. The reason it matters is because there is no proof of purple unicorns at all, or our interactions with them. But I can comprehend what a purple unicorn is. However, you're trying to say that because there is no proof of the fourth dimension or anyone's interactions with it, no one could comprehend that. However, I could then say, well, the fourth dimension is time. I could create a comprehension of time within my mind. It could be a blob. It could be purple, like Hit's aura. It could be time skip, whatever.
Okay,
I could be very well correct. Hold on. I know. I'm just elaborating. It could be very well correct. I could comprehend it, but since there is no proof one way or the other, it is not justified to say that we should fall on the positive or negative, since there's no evidence to either side. You would need to provide evidence for either side to make saying, it's positive more justified, or say it's negative is more justified. That's all I'm saying. You need evidence one way or the other. You can't say that the absence of evidence proves your claim, because it doesn't.
Okay, right. NoLuck. So, I'll explain the negative claim argument I was making. But first, let's just address this. I want to make this analogy, just so maybe you could understand my argument a little bit better. Because I don't think you're understanding it as I wanted it to be intended to. So, let's say this, right? I ate this fucking cheeseburger, okay? And I'm eating this cheeseburger. I'm changing the matter of the cheeseburger because I just bit a piece out of this cheeseburger. So does that mean I
like where this is going.
Yeah. So does this mean I'm manipulating the matter at all? Like, you
are in fact manipulating the matter.
Mind me. Does this mean that I have like the ability to manipulate matter, like a fucking silver? Okay.
You can manipulate matter on the scale that your teeth can gnaw through the matter in the cheeseburger.
Okay,
Yes.
when I refer to manipulating matter, I refer to, and like I just made the analogy, but you cut me off. It's fine. I made like the example of like Silver Surfer, kind of like like a matter manipulation, right? So when I say that I can eat this cheeseburger, right? I'm changing the matter and structure of this cheeseburger because I just took a bite out of it, right? So when I do that, right, that does not mean that I can like create or destroy this matter like on the scale I was just describing earlier, right? So if I can hold on, if I can, go through time, right, does not mean I'm beyond linear time because I went through linear time technically, right? Or I grew because of linear time, right? That does not mean I'm beyond linear time. So again, and I'd also want to restate my point. I'll try to accentuate it and articulate it a little bit better than you. Oh no, mind me, a little bit better for you. But after this point, would you like to move on or just conclude?
We can definitely move on. Are you making another point, or can
I think I've established Barry Allen pretty well, so
okay.
I have no need to continue.
That's okay.
Okay. And then I'll just yeah. So
I do want to post the rest of the scans I promised you, though. That's part of why I've been a little quieter right now.
Go ahead. You can do that while I explain. It's fine. You can post them also while like conclusion. That's fine. I don't have a problem. I'm not gonna say Hitchens razor. I think that's rat. But
okay.
Yeah. So basically, like let's say this, right? My three-dimensional. For now, we're agreeing that my mind is of the third dimension, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So my three-dimensional mind is like creating and making this purple unicorn, right? And it doesn't exist, right? We have no evidence that it exists.
Wait. Are you comprehending it?
Okay. I'm comprehending the unicorn by putting it in my three-dimensional mind.
Perfect.
Right. Its dimensionality is not of the fourth dimension if I can literally comprehend it.
Wait, why is the fourth dimension, why is there a wall between the third dimension and fourth dimension? Who said that?
I already explained that there's a fictional transcendent. There's an
But
inaccessible.
says who?
There's an hold on.
An author?
Hold on.
Does an author say this?
At the start of this as well, you agree that there's higher values of infinite and there's inaccessible cardinals between each dimension, which would be
I'm asking where you get this. Where do you get this claim that you're getting? Were you shown evidence? Were you shown some knowledge I'm not aware of?
Evidence of fictional transcendences?
No, evidence that the fourth dimension is not even inaccessible. Let's meet in the middle. I'll say that a third dimensional being cannot access the fourth dimension or exist in it, but I will then say you need to prove to me that a fourth dimensional creature can't be comprehended by a third dimensional creature.
Okay.
That's where I'm really wanting your evidence there. That was my biggest problem with it because
right. And
I don't know why you would think that.
My point was that it wouldn't matter what you're trying to assert. I'm blatantly telling you positive claims and negative claims. So we cannot prove that pigs can fly and they have wings and they fly with their wings, right? So we assume and this is the term pigs. If I say something just completely oblivious and retarded, right, and say when that happens, pigs can fly or some shit. You understand? You know that phrase?
The old saying, yeah. Sorry, I was posting some scans that I promised.
Okay, right. So when I state that, and I ask, okay, can you prove that pigs can fly with wings? And the person says, no, I have no evidence. You assume the negative, right? And because
I don't actually. That's not how logic works.
Why don't we?
Because
what would we assume then, NoLuck?
Because you don't want to. So basically, you don't want to make assumptions without evidence. I believe that would be illogical in any case, whether it's positive or negative. If you were to make an assumption that firefighters don't exist because you've never seen a firefighter in your life, that would be fallacious. It would be wrong to most people with common sense. Just because you have not seen the evidence of it does not mean that it is actually not there. There are people who have never seen.
There's a difference.
Well, no, I'm saying. Hold on, one second. So in this very simple analogy I gave, somebody doesn't believe in firefighters. They assume the negative because they've never seen a firefighter for themselves before. That would clearly be fallacious because obviously firefighters exist. So when somebody assumes something on the basis of a lack of evidence, it is actually fallacious and can lead to those wrong conclusions that I've been talking about. That's why I've asked many times, what proof or what authority are you getting this that a third dimensional being can't even comprehend anything that exists in the fourth dimension?
Okay.
That's why I want the evidence.
Okay, right. And again, I'm not gonna get off this point of negative and positive claims. You should know me.
No, we're on it. You seem to want to stay on it. That's what my analogy is for.
Right,
we can stay there.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it's a great place. But basically, right. So, dude, I feel like Super Bear Neo, but you said something about firefighters. Okay, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So, not seeing evidence and evidence not existing are two different things. There is zero evidence. There's no evidence ever provided or ever seen to be shown existence of firefighters. Then I would assume they don't exist. Yeah, but because there is evidence that they exist, I would assume that they do exist. Just because I don't believe so, or my opponent, just because I believe so, or my opponent doesn't present evidence for that, doesn't mean anything. All that means is in that debate, they could not convince me that firefighters existed.
Wait, so then you would be, and again, you can walk this back after I say this. So by your logic, I could very well just say that my opponent failed to convince me that, or show me evidence that we can't comprehend the fourth dimension. That's the inference I can make off of your logic.
Great. Well, what we were saying though, Zach. Okay, what we were saying though, or at least what I was saying earlier on my point was that, what I'm trying to do is argue that this is the valid train of logic. We do assume the negative if we can't prove the positive. That's what I'm trying to do.
Why do we do that?
Hold on, NoLuck.
Wait, what law are you citing though? Why do we do that? That's all I want to know. Just why do we assume that?
We've been arguing this point. Can you not ask me it again if it's the point we're literally on?
No, I was asking why do we assume the negative then? I just showed you why I gave you evidence and a logical foundation for why it's fallacious to assume the negative.
Okay,
but you're
I told you why it's a false equivalency, right? What I'm trying to tell
it's not a false equivalence.
NoLuck.
It's exactly what you said to me.
The point is that we compare this, right? I'm saying that we assume the negative if we can't prove the positive, right? That's what I'm saying, and you are the opposition to that. When I state that, if I can prove that, that is proving that we don't. That we cannot
I agree then.
That's
I agree. So then prove to me that we should assume the negative real quick.
Okay. Because if there's nothing to suggest the positive, and the most logical assumption is that they don't exist because there's blatant evidence of it not existing, then I would assume so. Because
what would the evidence of a non-existence be? Wait, what would that evidence be? No, you can't shotgun. You can't shotgun right now, Jade. You have to give me evidence for your claim.
No.
Look, I'm just saying. I know, but we've been on the. I know. Hold on. You're shotgun. I know you're shotgunning different. Hold on. I'll explain how you can shotgun the same point because I've been called on this by Parrot. You can shotgun on the same point by going to different subsections of the point to establish your side or your stance on that point. That would still be shotgunning because you're using different subsections and you're forcing your opponent to address multiple subsections in one.
Being evidence to the negative. That's what
I know, but I'm saying that where is your evidence? No. Here's the thing. You're still going to different subsections. I'm saying let's address each one as they come up. So then you asserted again that we don't need evidence to assume the negative, but you even agreed to my hypothetical in which somebody never sees firefighters, so they assume firefighters don't exist. And you said that is wrong. You shouldn't assume the negative just because you haven't seen that evidence.
So
that's the lack of evidence does. No, it's not. You agreed to that, didn't you?
I didn't agree to that. I said that it was a false equivalency.
No. So you're saying that it is correct. So in this case, if I've never seen a firefighter, it's okay. I am correct in assuming that there are no firefighters. Yes. So then that would be your statement.
What I meant is that we assume because you said that you're trying to contradict my logic by saying we assume that firefighters don't exist because we don't have any evidence presented to us. My point was that there is literally no evidence in existence If there's no evidence in existence, if there's no evidence at all, and it is blatantly not shown to be in existence, and there's evidence to support the negative, or there's just no evidence at all and it's still following the logic, then yeah,
So
I would assume the negative.
you yourself know all of the evidence within our existence, right? Because that's what you're asserting.
That's not what I asserted, NoLuck.
Okay, well let me explain why I came to that conclusion very quickly. You said that when there is literally no evidence within our reality that we can comprehend the fourth dimension, we should just assume that we can. In that, you would be implying that you have all of the available evidence within our reality, which is just absurd. I'm sure you wouldn't even claim that you know that. So then I would then move to say that since you don't know all the evidence in the universe, you can't make the claim that there's no evidence in our universe, and then try to make the inference that we don't have evidence anywhere within our reality.
Okay.
That is absurd.
Do you agree? Okay, at least agree to this. Do you agree that you have to prove the positive? You agree to that, right?
That I have to prove a positive?
Do you agree do you agree?
Well, no, I'll go even further than that. You have to.
You don't think?
No,
you don't think you have to? Just answer the question. It's a point.
I am. I'll commit
yes
even.
no.
Okay, I'll commit even further. You have to provide evidence for any claim, positive or negative.
Is that it? Okay, so it wouldn't. I don't think it would mean anything. So
okay, so you agree to that? Wait. Do you agree to that then?
Hold on. You're
okay,
like you always.
That's okay. No, go ahead.
Okay, right. So when you prove or when you say that pigs can fly or whatever claim you're going to state, right? What I want you to do is I want you to prove the positive that there is evidence in the universe of that.
I did not claim that there is. I'm making the same claim.
It was the analogy. Don't do it.
No. Here, I'll respond real quick, and I'll make it very short this time. I'm basically saying that you do not have all the evidence in the universe or in our reality. If you have a counter to that to prove that I am wrong, feel free to present it. That's all I was asserting. That was my claim.
And what I just asserted, NoLuck, is that I think, and I asserted that if you have to prove a positive, right, and you said that you also have to prove a negative, right? What I'm stating is that whenever you have to prove a positive, you'd have to present evidence for that. So if you don't present the evidence and it's not presented at all, I'm going to assume that it doesn't exist because there was literally no evidence. So
I just illustrated to you why that's fallacious.
NoLuck. Hold on, NoLuck. So
I illustrated why that's fallacious already. You would have to counter that.
Okay, I'm gonna illustrate why that's okay.
Okay. So, go ahead.
Right. We debate. Let's say a rock versus Rita Farr. Do you know what that is? Rita Farr?
I don't. I'm sorry.
Okay, do you know who,
I know who Rita Farr is? No.
Fuck's sakes. Okay. Do you know? Let's say True Form Darkseid or Soulfire, whatever. Right? Let's say that a rock versus
I want to use
Soulfire. A regular old rock versus Soulfire Darkseid, right?
Yeah.
And then I say that this rock beat people stronger than Soulfire Darkseid, right? State to me.
What kind of sediment is the rock made of?
Okay, and I state that, and you ask me, okay, can you please present that to me? And I state, no, I cannot. So if I cannot present to you evidence as to why this rock beat people stronger than True Form Darkseid or Soulfire, right? Why would that, would you assume the negative? Would you assume that, in this case, you would assume that this rock has not in this particular debate?
No, I wouldn't assume that. And the reason I wouldn't is because I've had instances where I'll misunderstand, what a character can do. Somebody tried to tell me that Darkseid was multiversal at one point, and this person that first told me actually did not have the evidence. This is when I'm brand new to DC. Don't judge me. And I was like, I don't know. You don't have any proof that he's multiversal. But then I ran into somebody named Capitalism in Seth's server, and he showed me the scans of Darkseid being multiversal. So if I had assumed the first time that he wasn't, I would have been wrong, simply because there was a lack of evidence, like you're suggesting now. I'm not going to say that the lack of evidence proves the negative. Since there's no evidence one way or the other, I can't assume anything until I've had it proved one way or the other, or until there's evidence presented to me that supports the negative or the positive. Assuming either side would be fallacious because I am assuming something based on no evidence, which I think is fallacious.
And then what I'm telling you is that to make the positive, you need to validate it. And when you can't prove the positive, validate it, right? So why I'm saying you do
The same with the negative,
right,
by the way.
Okay, right. Why I'm saying you do assume the
Right.
negative is at that point in this particular debate. Let me just accentuate and articulate this to you. In this particular debate, right?
Mhm.
There's no evidence provided for it, and we know that because, like,
Wait, so no evidence for the negative or the positive?
Positive, right? So whenever
Is
we
there
don't
evidence for the negative?
there's evidence that there's nothing. That is the only thing we have. All we
So
have
how does
is
that support the negative?
Okay, I'm explaining. Okay, nigga. Oh my god, this sounds so fucking cringy. Okay, so basically, you need to validate the positive whenever you make the positive claim, right? And you're asserting that you also have to do it for the negative. What I'm saying is that also this is getting really, really repetitive, but whenever you have to validate the positive, if you
Hey,
don't
I tried to get off this point. I tried to tell you.
Okay, whenever you do prove the positive, or mind me, don't prove the positive, and it is not validated at all, the claim is false. And you know that this person has not presented
Whoa, why?
any.
Wait, why?
Hold on.
Why is it false? That's the real question.
Did I not accentuate and articulate this to you when I said particular?
No. In fact, not only did you not articulate why. Hold on. No, you're not. I know you said particular. It doesn't articulate to me why you assume the negative with no evidence for the negative.
Okay, right, and let me just.
That's all I'm trying to get at. It's a very simple, very simple thing.
Finish the point. Yeah, I understand. It's very simple. Then let me finish the point. Okay.
No, finish the point. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. So if you don't validate the positive, right, you would assume the negative. And the reason why I'm saying that is because whenever you say, okay, this thing exists, right, in this particular debate, right, because I'm not saying that in this particular debate you are omniscient, you know everything about every, like, timeline. Let's say multiverse theory exists, right? You know every timeline, you know everything in the universe, you know literally anything that is of knowledge, right? I'm not saying that. I'm saying that in this particular debate, you know what is happening in this particular debate. You know what evidence is being posted, right? So whenever the positive claim is not validated, and you literally know that there is no evidence in this particular.
Well, you just admitted that you don't know that there's evidence in this particular area, by the way.
Yeah, in this particular area. So
you actually admitted earlier that you don't know for sure that there is no evidence within the entirety of our reality for your claim. You admitted that when I asserted that you don't have all available knowledge. Yeah, I'm also being particular. Okay. I'm playing your game. I'm using your logic, and I'm showing you the flaws within your logic. That's the point of what I'm doing right now. The point of what I'm doing is to show you the issues.
And what I'm doing is to show you that what you're trying to contradict. You're trying to contradict my argument. Yeah, yes, you are. You're trying. Yes, you are. You're trying to contradict my logic.
No. I'm actually just showing you within your logic where there are certain shortcomings that I would be able to exploit within this versus battle. That's all I'm trying to do. I haven't even said how I would exploit those. I'm just saying that basically there are flaws within this logic that I could exploit. Like if I wanted to be even more particular, like how you're trying to move basically towards, I could say that within your logic, since there's no proof to the negative, I could say that basically Batman is omnipotent. Since nothing touches him through the story, I've been rereading it, and he is able to do everything he wants to do. So since there is no evidence to the negative that he is not omnipotent, then I could then move forward. Oh, I'm sorry, what were you saying?
What?
Well, he is omnipotent, but keep going.
But since there is no evidence to the negative, just to finish this last point, since there is no evidence to the negative that he's not omnipotent, I could claim that Batman's omnipotent, the one that I'm arguing for, using your logic. I haven't done that because I'm just trying to show you the flaws within your logic.
Okay,
I haven't tried to contradict or utilize those flaws yet. I'm just pointing them out to you.
Okay, I understand that, NoLuck. So what I'm saying is that in this particular instance, right, so we already established the analogy.
We also should probably move off of logic because that's more of an IRL topic. We want to probably keep this on fiction.
After this point, would you mind going to conclusions?
That's okay. We can go to conclusions after this.
Okay, right. So in this particular scenario, I already established the dimensions. I already established the analogy, right? I'm saying in this particular point, right? We know this for a fact, right? Or mind me, we know in this debate of the fourth dimension, or at least this point, right? There's no evidence to present that a third dimensional being can comprehend the fourth dimension or anything within the fourth dimension, right? So what I'm saying is that if there's nothing to suggest it, and the negative claim is to prove that there is nothing to suggest it, and the positive failed to validate that there is something to suggest it, you would assume that the positive or the negative. So this has gone very repetitively, and this is basically ad nauseum. I think that I've established my points well enough, and I think it was a good debate. It's pretty fun. Would you like to conclude now?
We can conclude if you want to. I know you were wanting to probably wrap this up.
Remind me, who were the judges again?
I think we had Image Lords. Yeah, Banandrak too.
Who's the third one?
I think
it was
Drunken
Wavy.
Angel.
Yeah, it was that guy. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, do you want?
We can go to conclusions then.
Or
yeah, if you want to, you can go ahead and start first.
Did you go first, or did I go first?
I think I started the debate.
Okay, so I'll just go first. So, the reason I believe I won is because to present why God of Death Flash is of a higher plane of existence in DC. My opponent NoLuck never actually established the tier like Batman was at. He only established that he was omniscient and that he can be omnipresent. So what I was asserting was you can know everything, or you can be everywhere in this particular dimension, but that does not mean you would be everywhere, because it's never shown that this Batman is actually in the Overvoid, or is in Final Heaven, a better example. So because of that, I believe that I won, and Flash would just be of a higher plane of existence. So this mind hacks wouldn't work because Flash would just be of a higher plane of existence. I proved he was of source tier levels of power and speed. So he never presented to me anything else. That was pretty much it. Mind hacks wouldn't mean anything if you're getting blitzed and one-shotted. That's my conclusion. That's why I believe I won.
Okay. So, are you done? I don't want to interrupt.
Yeah, I'm done. You can begin.
Cool. So as far as conclusions, I think there were a few reasons why I won, mostly just going point by point. I think I was able to illustrate to Jade the flaws within his logic, and then also overturn quite a few issues he took up with my argument. Specifically when he said that I was trying to contradict his logic, when I then decided to point out, okay, well, I'm not trying to contradict you. I'm trying to show you so you can maybe backtrack on your logic, because I then went on to say that with his logic, and he did agree to this, that I could actually infer that not Superman, the Batman I'm using could be omnipotent using his logic. He also agreed to that. So if we're going to use his logic, then my Batman is omnipotent. I was able to use his logic better than he was to prove my character is omnipotent, as opposed to just in a dimension beyond the monitor sphere is what I believe he scaled Black Racer to. So within that, I would say that I scaled my character higher and got him to agree to my scaling. On top of that, at one point, I also gave him the chance to backtrack this, and we can all check the recording if you'd like. He did try to say that essentially Black Racer had no mind hacks resistance, because he didn't want Black Racer or God of Death Flash to scale below Anti-Monitor and Darkseid. I then went on to say, well, they controlled him, so they scale below him. He said, well, they just have no mind hacks resistance. And then I went to Jade and gave him the opportunity to backtrack on that, because God of Knowledge Superman is mainly mind hacks, and that would pretty much end Flash, combined with God of Knowledge Batman's precognition, timeline view, and the fact that he can read Flash's mind and his intent. So on both of those, God of Knowledge Batman should destroy him, because I got Jade to basically agree that he is omnipotent using his logic, and that Flash does not have mind hacks resistance. On top of that, I was able to win the logical battle. I wanted this to be purely fiction, but I did have to tell Jade basically how logic works, and I asked him and gave him many opportunities to prove his assertion that without evidence for the positive claim that you should have basically assume the negative when you have evidence for neither one. Since he was not able to debunk that, refute it, however you want to say, it still stands, or at worst case for me, it cancels out. In which case, I still scaled my character higher, in which Jade agreed to, and we can just cancel out the logical stuff that we went over, which I did say multiple times was eating up too much of this debate. I did try to get back on track, but Jade did insist on staying on the point. I do feel I either won the point or at worst, we ended up neutral because of how we logicked it out. So since I scaled my character higher, arguably won the little sidetrack we did, which were both parts of the debate, I feel I've won that way. That's it.
Yeah, can I just say one thing, NoLuck?
Oh, shit.
No, not after conclusions. I just wanted to tell you.
Oh, okay. No, that's okay. If I said some dumb shit, please let me know. I say dumb shit all the time.
I meant when I said that, like I never conceded, or never like that would be direct concession if I said knowledge Batman scales above God of Death Flash. I never said that.
Well, no, you didn't say that. I said by using your knowledge, and if we stick to not your knowledge, by using your logic and sticking to it, I could then say that Batman's omnipotent. Yeah,
Okay,
and then you said we should assume that based on your logic, and then I was like, "Do you want to backtrack it?" And you said no, and so you just want to use that logic, and you said yes.
I don't remember that segment. We can
go back to the recording after this. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, okay. I'd also like to add to the mind hacks thing. I meant like he would just not have the sufficient mind hacks to resist a Darkseid or Anti-Monitor.
Well, I did. I mean, God of Knowledge Batman scales above both of them.
I mean, it won't make a difference whether or not he has resistance or not. But let's just get to the votes. So
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, Banandrak first. So who do you think won and why? Me or NoLuck?
I'm probably gonna be muted for this. Sorry.
It's fine. Banandrak, who do you think won and why?
If Banandrak doesn't answer, he can definitely give your verdict if we want.
Damn, are the judges too scared to judge?
I'm pretty sure he's typing. Because when we did our original typing.
Okay, then we can let him type.
Okay. I saw he deafened when I said that, and he undeafened, so I'm pretty sure he heard me.
Damn.
I'm gonna ping him in bathtub. Okay, so for him, I guess let's just get Angel Lord's verdict. So who do you think won and why? Me or NoLuck?
Well, it would depend on whether or not you conceded to Batman being omnipotent.
I never did, but NoLuck says I did.
Well, okay. Here, I'll give you the exact exchange then. Basically, I said if you want to stick to your logic, Jade, then hold on. I'm getting echo from really bad. It's Drunken Angel. Okay, there we go. So basically, I said Jade. No, I didn't. I just turned him down. Basically, I said Jade, if you want to stick to your logic that there's no evidence to the positive or negative, we assume the negative, then you can't assume basically that Batman's not omnipotent because he's never hurt. He does everything he wants to, and he's not bound by anything at any point in the story. I could say he's omnipotent, and since there's no evidence to the negative or the positive, it sort of just falls under that. I could say he's not omnipotent. I could say he is, in my logic, but I really am going to fall on the side that has more evidence. But Jade's answer was, if I say that he's not omnipotent, and there's no evidence to the negative, it's just kind of that's kind of the point. And Jade was like, I want to stick with that logic. And I was like, Jade, do you see the implications that I could make Batman omnipotent? He's like, yes, but I want to stick with the logic. I was like, okay. That's fine.
Yeah, because what the reason why I wanted to, because I already said so with I already started my point with at the start of the debate, whenever we were going over God of Death Flash, I stated that it wouldn't matter because it's not shown that he is of the same level of dimensions or creation at all.
Well,
If it's
there's
not-
no evidence to the contrary, though, which was the whole problem with logic.
My logic was that if you can't prove the positive, you assume the negative. Whether or not you agree with it, that was my logic. So if there's nothing to suggest, hold on, NoLuck.
Yeah.
If there's nothing to suggest that Batman is on this scale, then it would not be like you would assume that he's not on that scale. That was my point.
No, I just gave the evidence for why he would be on that scale, and there's no evidence to the negative. Like that's basically what I was saying and pointing out within the logic. And I tried to
with my own logic that I already applied. So
no, okay. So the
context,
logic is basically
in context. What you just applied wouldn't matter.
No, actually, I was using your logic. So basically, it matters.
You know,
no
let's not get into the let's not get into a debate after.
That's the point.
Let's not get into a debate after conclusions.
That's fine. All I'm trying to say is that I used your logic to scale my character to omnipotent, and you scaled your character to above the monitor sphere, if I'm not mistaken.
That's what I was saying. Above the source,
the source,
monitor spheres, etc. Right.
That's fine. The source is not omnipotent. I was saying that I was able to scale my guy to omnipotence, not just to the source.
You can say I admitted or that he was omnipotent, but my point is that that's directly contradicted by what I said and the logic I was applying. So if you want to apply,
we used it through your logic. That's how we did it.
Okay.
Through your logic.
It doesn't. It does not. It contradicts that. It contradicts it. That's not what I was applying.
Okay, then why did you agree to it during the debate when I was very clear in saying that this is how your logic proves that Batman is omnipotent?
Okay, hold on, NoLuck. Let me just put this in perspective to you. Maybe this will help you understand. So, your point was that via my logic, there's nothing shown to be Batman, not being able to do anything. He does everything he wanted to with the God knowledge.
He shows no bounds, yes, and that was something I brought up. He's boundless, which is the definition of omnipotence, of course.
Yeah, so you'd assume the positive instead of assuming the negative, right? That was
because there's more evidence to that side.
Yeah, exactly. It's what when you're assuming the positive because the positive has more evidence. So I shouldn't say assuming, but
that's fine. Since there's more, we'll just go with the more evidence then. I'll leave your logic alone.
Okay.
We'll go back to the recording if we need to, but fine. If it's through my own logic, then I still said he was omnipotent. I gave the evidence. You didn't refute it. At that point, he's omnipotent, whether we're using my logic or yours. That's the problem there.
Yeah, and then my point was that I did refute at the start of the debate when I asked you if he at the same level of the source, because it's never shown that.
Well, no, that's not a refute. The source is not omnipotent unless you can prove that the source is omnipotent real quick.
Him doing
otherwise that's not a refute.
Him doing whatever he wants does not have to specifically be of the source or omnipotent or higher.
Well, actually being boundless and being able to do literally anything that you would want to would be omnipotence. So yes, it would be.
When did you ever say he was boundless? This is what I remember.
I said that in the debate. I said that. I basically illustrated to you what omnipotence was. And then I said, this is what the evidence is to support that definition of omnipotence, that boundlessness, the ability to do whatever he wants.
Okay, we can go back to the
never
recording.
Failing,
we can go back to the recording, but the only thing that I heard you say is he can do whatever he wants, and what he wants or his desire would not necessarily...
Well, that's actually not true. You just admitted to basically hearing me talk about how I would be using your logic to prove that. But then since you said that within your logic it doesn't make sense, I was like, fine, we'll use my logic. Even with my... No, here's the thing. Even within my logic, the argument I gave still supports Batman being omnipotent and you not refuting it, no matter which one of our logics you use.
I refute.
You're saying that you refuted it by scaling Darkseid, by scaling the Black Racer to the source, but the source is not omnipotent. You never claimed that,
my point
and
is
it's impossible to prove because it's not.
You need to scale what he's doing, what he wants to do, like his desires, to the source or higher. That's what I was asking.
You should have said that in the debate then.
I did.
We'll check the recording, because if you would have said that, I had something ready specifically for that, because I knew I was going to try to argue Batman being omnipotent in this debate, and I figured what you would say. So if you would have actually said that and basically said, well, prove that this is on a scale of omnipotence, I had something ready for that I did not have to use, even though I was waiting to use it.
Okay, let's just continue the verdict. We didn't even verdict. Fuck's sake.
That's fine. I'm sticking by Batman's omnipotent. I don't give a shit.
Fuck you. Okay.
Good night, Judge. You're here now.
Here, I was taking shit, sorry.
Oh my god.
I
Okay.
kind of left during conclusions, but from what I
Okay.
heard during the debate, I'm pretty sure NoLuck argued Batman being omnipotent. Pretty sure, and you agreed to it, right?
I never agreed to it.
He
Sure,
did,
just came
actually.
back. I came back to y'all discussing to it.
You actually agreed that within that logic, Batman would be omnipotent, and then after conclusions, you tried to backtrack and say, "Well, I didn't agree that in my logic he's omnipotent. This is how." And you brought up a new point after conclusions, even. And then I showed you, fine, if you don't want him to be omnipotent in your logic, in my logic, he is still omnipotent. Regardless of if I used your logic or not, I still made a case for him being omnipotent, gave evidence, and you didn't refute it. And then after conclusions, you tried to say to me, well, I did refute it. I said that my guy was as strong as the source, who is not omnipotent.
Okay.
That is not even a proper refute.
Okay. All right. No. This is just really fucking retarded. I'm saying that you need to prove that his desires
I mean,
and
it's
what he
basic
wants to do.
scaling.
No, you're like saying that he's omnipotent, and what you did say.
I did, and you didn't refute it.
What you did say is that you're scaling him because he can do whatever he wants. Whatever he wants was not omnipotent.
I know.
You'd have to prove that.
Actually, yeah, it is. That's the definition of omnipotence. If you would have asked me to prove that during the debate, I would have, but I'll prove it now anyway.
No,
Post a scan.
your desires. Hold on.
I'll post a scan for you.
Hold on, NoLuck. No, stop doing this. Like,
stop posting a scan. Yes.
Because that's totally what I said. No, my point is that.
You said stop doing this.
Okay, yeah, you like not letting me finish and then trying to post evidence.
No,
for
go ahead,
something
finish.
I never asked for. Okay,
go finish. Finish.
Okay,
that's okay.
All right. My point is that what his desires are, my desires could be to eat a cheeseburger, right? Whatever I want to do is, let's say, what I want to do is my desire, right? My desire is to eat a cheeseburger. Does that mean I'm omnipotent? What I'd need you to do is prove that his desires would be on that scale. That's what I did say. If you're denying
that's not what you said. You actually used the matter manipulation for that example with the cheeseburger, and I said you would be manipulating matter, but not on the level of Silver Surfer like you brought up. That's exactly how you used that example. Don't try to change it. How you used it.
No, hold on. No, I didn't use that example for that point at all. Those are two different fucking points.